Happy Monday, guys. We are back with another episode of Lou Taught You. Growing up, my mother used to always force me and my siblings to eat vegetables and fruits, and there's nothing wrong with that. Grateful and thankful. But it always felt like torture, you know what I mean? And I know in having my own kids, I have to incorporate things that they need for their body to grow and things like that. But I don't need it to be World War III every single time. So with the holidays coming up, and with the conversation we just had last week about health, I wanted to go through some ways and tricks and tips that I have used to either mask healthy things or how to help incorporate them and make, good substitutions. So here are some things that I like to do, and hopefully Lou can teach you some things that you can use too. So when it comes to fruits and vegetables, obviously we have our preferences, and some people, especially children, tend to be picky eaters, but some things we just need to have and incorporate, and it is obviously best to get it organically, like from the food itself, as opposed through a pill or some like processed powder. I prefer to get it straight from the source. So when it comes to breakfast, sometimes just try, cutting it, in fun shapes. When it comes to like heart shapes and things like that, they have different stencils and things you can cut it with, or just cut multiple and see what they gravitate towards, and try to push more of that. Also, what I like to do is, let's say if it's something like pancakes, right? Which we don't automatically assume is a healthy option. But a lot of times what I'll do is incorporate like unsweetened applesauce into it. And certain, maybe you could even do blended up dates and things like that, flax seeds. Put those kind of things in that they won't even notice the difference. And honestly, I usually leave out either a lot of the milk or most of it that's in it, because I'm not using water, but you can. That is something that you can easily do. If you want certain yogurts, obviously you can blend the flavors in there, and you can even freeze it so it's like a popsicle. It's not just some like yogurt that they don't want and they don't like the texture of. So that is a few options that you can use when tackling breakfast. Even in snacking, like most people like their chocolate covered anything. So you can have your fruits, your bananas, your grapes, like the way even like that edible, maybe some pineapples covered in chocolate, dip in chocolate. I also find that when you make it an activity, like a fun shared activity, they enjoy it. So just doing the whole process, whether you're like, cutting up certain things, or you're melting the chocolate, or you're laying it out and you're making fun shapes or whatever, they enjoy it being a part of the process. Obviously, like we, went over last week, the smoothie, it can hide everything. You can put the vegetables you don't like the spinach and stuff in there, and let them press the button, and sometimes it'll be like, ooh, do we like this? Let's taste it, because they don't remember all of the nasty stuff that you put in there. And sometimes that's how I have to, take in some of my nutrients. Like sea moss isn't the greatest tasting thing in the world, so I have to mix it into my smoothie. Some of the supplements that I take, that's how it's going to get down, because otherwise it's not happening. I'm not even gonna lie, because you want to enjoy what you're taking in, but as adults, we know, okay, we have to do this, but as kids, they're not thinking like that. So we have to find ways, as opposed to, let's say, punishing them for not doing what we want to do, and making it fun and palatable. When it comes to other foods and meals, when we talk about, let's say, mac and cheese, think about it for the holidays coming up. You can use things like squash and carrots, blend it in there, and use that as part of like the cheese mixture, because especially when it's baked, that texture gets hidden very well, and that's like an amazing way to cover up the vegetables that are in there. You can also use the carrots or squash or different things like that And spaghetti sauce, because the thickness of it, they won't even notice it. It coats it well. It blends well with the tomatoes, and I have used it many a times and they didn't notice. It is great. Now, we gotta get to the drinks, because you know a lot of times kids will just drink all day. So we spoke about, like, you know, making the smoothies. But some kids like want to be grown up and think they're drinking soda. And even for me, honestly, because juice is one of my weaknesses, I try to actually juice, like real juicer, like possibly. But it can also be time consuming, you know what I mean? But another thing I like to do is seltzer water. You know what I mean? The kids think it's soda. And I like to get obviously the one without aspartame, but get a flavored one. There's so many different ones and they're really not expensive at all. And it's a good way for them to drink and feel like they're, you know, getting their soda in when they're not. And they're like zero calories, you know, putting lemon wedges in drinks or drinking teas or things like that. I am a fan and a component, and it kind of like even tricks me when I'm like, I want a craving to drink something sweet, but I know I need to make better decisions. So that's another one that you can use too. For others who are also snackers, my cousin actually taught me this a while ago, like, you know, instead of getting regular potato chips, like, try kale chips, even though it doesn't sound that great. And I honestly don't like kale, but when it's like nice and thin and crispy, you can drizzle it with olive oil. You can put maybe a couple of herbs. You know, we want to stay away from salt. But there's many different flavorings that you can put on top of things. You can do it with your own sweet potatoes, cut them thin. You literally put them to bake or roast. A lot of people like to freeze grapes, and they make for quick and easy snacks. And there's really so much you can do to make it fun, even for yourself as an adult. I know Sabra has like a chocolate dip, but it's not really like all chocolate, it's avocado. And it doesn't taste like it. Like, I was just like, oh, like this I can do. So like I've said before, I like to work smarter, not harder. I don't want it to be a battle every time I'm feeding my children. So incorporating certain things, adding them, mixing them in, it makes the day that much easier. And knowing that you're also doing what you need to do right by your kids, because of course they're going to want McDonald's because, you know, it tastes better, but it's not better for them. So when you can incorporate different things like, you know, blending the fruits or adding, you know, vegetables into the mac and cheese, it's great. And I think as they get older and they can help, they will carry that with them. You know what I mean? I remember a lot of things that my mom did to get us to eat right, and I use them on my kids too, but I try to do it in a way that it doesn't feel like torture, and they need that. And it will also teach them autonomy in what they put in their body and how important it is to know what you're taking in and not just, you know, what you buy in the stores. So hopefully these tips are helpful, especially with the holidays coming up, because, you know, waistlines might get a little thicker. So if we can make some healthy decisions beforehand, I think it'll go a long way. So please remember that Lou taught you all the different ways you can incorporate healthy eating in everyday foods. If you have any suggestions, any questions, any tips, please feel free to share. I look forward to them, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.